On this episode of Cosmic Cantina, we talk about witches and curses, starting with the rise and popularity of witchcraft. Then, Matt goes into a dark tale of a real-life ritual sacrifice from the 1980s. And Josh has another top 3 involving cursed objects. I'm your host, Melissa Tittle, and every week I go to my favorite bar, Cosmic Cantina, and kick back with my co-hosts, Josh Golembeski and Matt O'Connor. We talk about aliens, Bigfoot, ghosts, ancient cultures, and anything from the unseen world that needs a little illumination. Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Cosmic Cantina. Tonight we're drinking a apple cider from the Stem Brewery. Called Rose.
Cidery, whatever.
Gluten-free, delicious. I like Stem. I've been there a few times.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Great. So it's in Colorado?
It's a local brew, yep.
Nice. Good. I should check it out. But tonight, we're going to talk about witches and curses.
Oh boy.
Yes.
It's not even Halloween. I'm down.
It's just January. It's just January. Kind of like when you stop working out and you don't do your diet. It's kind of a curse. You know? It's just like the rest of 2020, you're going to be fat.
No one wants that.
All right, so I found this article in New York Times that says, when did everybody become a witch? And this is a really in-depth article about how 2019 was the year of the witch. There's witch parties, witch protests. There's at least 20 best-selling books on how to be a witch, how to make spells, how to do curses, how to become a good witch. There's lots of witches out there.
Yeah, you can be a bad witch or a good witch.
Or a good witch.
Aren't bad witches mostly just portrayed in movies and TV, and that actually the term witch is actually mostly a good thing or a light bringer type of scenario?
Yeah, but I don't think a lot of people, when they hear the word witch, I don't think they think, oh, that's a positive thing.
No,
I
because
think
they
it's
all saw
always-
Wizard of Oz, you know?
Right.
It's just like Satanists, like the Church of Satan. They're
Right.
actually decent people, and they they're not like sacrificing anyone or drinking blood
Right.
or anything like that.
And they help old ladies across the street, you know?
Yeah,
They're just, it's just a
they
social
believe in the
movement.
Constitution.
Right. And they pick the Satan as their mascot. So whatever. So 51 years ago, a group of protesters calling themselves Witch staged a Halloween hex on Wall Street. They dressed up like witches. And this is in the article. They dressed up like witches. They glued the doors of all these downtown New York Stock Exchange doors, like with crazy glue, and nobody could get in. And I guess the Dow dropped like 13 points or something.
Oh, really?
So it was like a win.
Witchcraft.
So then, I don't think that this was like a turning point by any means. I just think that like it wasn't popular to be a witch, but for some reason in 2019, it's become very popular to be a witch. It's like accepted.
Yeah.
So you can say I'm a witch. You're growing herbs and you're doing rituals, and apparently that's okay in 2019. So that's what this whole article is about. And I just think it's really interesting because that's what we're talking about witches and curses and cults.
How does one become a witch? I mean, do you just go on like Phoenix Online University and like you become a witch? Like, how do these people? Why do these people claim to be witches? Like, is it Udemy videos? Like, what's the deal?
Well,
how do you become a witch, Melissa? Tell me.
But I think witches is mostly it's a female thing. It's female empowerment because a witch is somebody who deals with the energies of the earth.
Like a Wiccan, right? Is that
or a
the same
Wiccan,
thing?
yeah. No, a Wiccan, witch, same thing.
All right.
Most of the pagan religions, but they're run by females. So it's kind of this rise of feminism matched in this idea of like people making cauldrons with like boiled, frog legs and shit.
Right.
That's not what's really happening. It's more like the rise of feminism a little bit. But
cool.
The word witch is somebody who deals with the energies of the earth and knows how to manipulate them. So they can be bad, which is curses, or they could be good, like love spells.
Oh.
Or just the idea of healing yourself with plants. So apparently that's the modern day witch.
Oh, very cool.
Which is
Interesting.
not very dramatic.
No.
However, there's a long history of what it means to be a witch.
So I wonder if it's growing in popularity. On the census every year, how you can choose your religion, and then like Jedi became like a big thing at one stage.
Really?
Yeah, everyone was putting
gonna be witch
Jedi
now.
for the thing. Yeah, I wonder if that's getting bigger. Like,
So all the men are
seriously.
Jedis and all the women are witches.
I'm cool. I'm okay with this world.
Yeah,
that's a
I'm
cool
down.
world. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
It might actually work out. So in this article, they go through all these conspiracies that witches were involved in. That maybe they they use their powers to wield certain things. But I just think it's just the term for the rise of feminism. However, there is proof that there has been in the past, and it is happening today, that there are people that can somehow wield the energies of the earth and make things happen. Manipulate matter, if you will.
Do we have any examples of that?
Well, Matt, you have a crazy story.
So yeah, I'm going to jump into this new segment. I'm going to start rolling out. It's called Scary Bedtime Stories. Get yourself tucked in for Matt's Scary Bedtime Stories.
I'm scared.
We start in 1989, and it starts with the disappearance of a young Texan student named Mark Kilroy.
Mm-hmm.
And spring break 1989, he's decided to go across the border from Brownsville, Texas, to a little town in Mexico called Matamoros. I'm not pronouncing that right, obviously, but here we go. So he gets a bunch of mates together, and they cross the. There's a bridge that goes across the border. And
into Mexico.
Into Mexico, yeah. So the idea is you park your car in the U.S. side, you cross the bridge on foot. I think there's like an immigration desk.
This is before the wall.
Yeah, this is pre-war, and then you go party because it's 16 over there. You can drink.
Right.
So this is U.S. students were going across and
I remember catching a buzz when I was like 13 in Cancun. So I don't think they care about what age you are down there.
Oh, there you go.
You're paying.
Yeah.
Just don't buy any weed.
Yeah. So anyway, these boys have a top night out. They get a little tipsy and they come back home across the bridge and they start walking across the bridge. Now, as they're coming back across the bridge, Mark says to his mates, "Guys, I'm going to take a wicked piss." So they're like, "All right." And he's like, "You guys go on ahead. I'll jump in the bushes here and I'll meet you back over the other side." So his mates go over they keep walking, and Mark sort of jumps into the bushes and relieves himself. So anyway, his mates are on the US side now. They've gone through immigration and stuff. And they're waiting, and they're waiting, and they're waiting, and he just doesn't show up. So they start to freak out, and they try to get back over, and they can't find him. And he's just gone. Gone skis. So after that, they go to obviously report back in Brownsville that he's gone missing, and then a police search ensues. Now, this is kind of the end of spring break, so once the police kind of get over to Mexico's side, they've only got a few days to start questioning people because there's like 3 days left and everyone's sort of packing it in and going home. So already they're on the back foot and they have no idea what's going on.
Wow.
So let's cut now to a character whose name is Adolfo Constanzo. And this guy was born in Miami. And then he moved with his mother to Puerto Rico when he was a kid, and they used to take trips back and forth with their then husband, who was like interested in all this sort of occult stuff. And so they used to travel to Haiti all the time, where he learned about voodoo.
Ah, okay.
From all
Which
these
is
people.
another form of witchcraft. It's a little bit darker, though.
Yep. So then, when he's a little bit older and his stepfather died, they moved back to Miami. And he, to make ends meet, he took on an apprenticeship with a local Cuban sorcerer in Miami, who practiced a religion called Payo Mayombe.
Okay.
And a lot of this had to do with animal sacrifice. Was this huge thing. It was a Cuban thing. Or
So is it a
thing.
form? It's a form of voodoo, but it's just specific to Puerto Rico.
This is different
Or
from
Cuba.
voodoo again. Like, so he started off with picking up voodoo, and I think he kind of gained an interest in the dark arts, as they were.
The dark arts.
And then
You notice there's no women involved in this. I just want to point that out. Okay,
yeah,
go
there's
ahead.
no women involved in this whatsoever. Well, not yet. So he takes on an apprenticeship with this sorcerer and learns all this like crazy stuff, a lot to do with animal sacrifice. And then when he gets older and he becomes an adult, he moves back to Mexico and starts turning a profit and making pretty good business, actually, making good luck spells and all sorts of like just fairly, small time
Benign,
magic
kinda
spells,
friendly.
benign magic spells, but for the local cartels, just giving them good luck charms and stuff.
Oh, okay, so with the cartels.
Yeah.
Oh.
I can see where this is going.
Yeah,
Okay.
so now he's calling himself a full-on bruja, which is witch.
Because he's making good luck spells?
No, so now he starts practicing a little bit more darker stuff.
So just to be clear, a sorcerer, I've heard before, means basically a male witch.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now he starts doing some darker stuff. Now he starts taking this Payo Mayambe teachings of the ritual sacrifice and starts running a business, basically doing these rituals for the cartels. And so in this area in Mexico in general, this kind of, there's Santeria and there's a whole bunch of other things. They take this stuff really seriously. It's a big deal. So you have the cartels and then he starts doing these good luck charms and rituals and sacrifices and stuff.
But just animal sacrifices at this point.
Just animals at this point, yeah. You know where this is going.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So he has this, it's like a cauldron that he uses, like a pot, a witch's pot.
It's very witchy.
And it's called Nganga. It's
Nganga?
Nganga.
I think you know.
Nganga. And so now he's not just the cartels, but there's politicians, there's high officials in law enforcement, even like celebrity, like rock stars and stuff. Everyone starts to hear about this guy. And mostly through his connections with the cartels, and they start all, employing him to, give me some fucking good luck, man. Give me some spells.
Kill some chickens.
But like we should point out that you can do a ritual that you're not sacrificing blood. You can you can use the
yes.
I'll just use the term good arts instead of the bad arts. You know, like
dark
you can
arts or the
dark
light
arts,
art,
right?
whatever.
Like you can. It's when you use blood, sacrifice, and taking life energy, you actually create that ritual, and it happens faster. But then it comes with a consequence.
Okay.
So if you do it like with angels and that kind of thing, it's a longer process, but it does come true. It's just different.
Okay. So don't try this at home, kids.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, I mean, they kind of believe down to the fact, like, taking the muscles from an animal will literally make them physically stronger if they put it in this pot and they do their chants and they worship whatever they're worshipping. So anyway, now he starts making, like, shitloads of money, and he starts, like, really making a name for himself, Adolfo. And he becomes, like, kind of a big-time guy. And he's used all different cartels are using this guy, and they're all kind of vying against each other, but at the same time, they believe that these rituals can make them basically bulletproof. They believe that the sacrifices and stuff that they were doing can make them completely impervious to the law whatsoever. Like, they believe that they were completely above the law, like they were going to be protected.
Nope, that's just you paying off the cops.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of that too.
It's happening.
So at this point now that he thinks he's big time, he goes to one of the biggest cartels and basically tries to strike up a deal with them, like a partnership with them, and say, hey, I want part of this business because look what I'm doing for you. And they basically tell him to fuck off. Like, get the fuck out of here, witch boy.
So he's like, now I cast a spell on you.
Well, so this cartel, several members of their family, after this, they tell him to fuck off, go missing.
Oh.
And then their bodies turn up weeks later, missing body parts, missing eyeballs, missing. One of them had their brain missing.
What?
A spine was missing from someone else. Ooh. All sorts of crazy shit. Like, shit starts to get pretty dark now. I mean, they're in the zone of sacrificing animals, and they're moving on to now where they dig up bones from graveyards, human bones, and use them in their sacrifice, use them in their rituals.
Wow.
So they're pretty unscrupulous people.
So wait, when the people went missing, did they associate that to the witch boy that they just spurned?
Boy.
Is that what they? Is that
that's what they're suggesting.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what's suggested for sure. After they start using the human bones, he starts to think, you know what would make these spells